Did you say that's your part of not nachoing?
That's not part of like nachoing, meaning I'm not going in there and saying, you need to apologize to me. I'm telling my husband, you need to tell her to apologize to me.
You're parenting by proxy.
You're right. Yeah.
That's not nachoing at all.
You're listening to the Nacho Kids podcast, where we discuss all things step family related. Real stories, real people, real help. Your hosts are the creators of the Nacho Kids method and the Nacho Kids Academy Step Family Coaching Team, Lori and David Sims.
Welcome to episode 214 of the Nacho Kids podcast.
We are halfway there.
You say that all the time. We're halfway to death. Actually, probably 3/4 of the way.
It don't matter.
It don't matter. It's okay. It's all good.
That's right.
So I listened to a Hidden Brain podcast the other day about when you get older, that you're actually happier. And I found that comforting because I had always pictured myself on my deathbed going through the things that were not pleasant. For instance, picture sweet little Lori on her deathbed, and she's thinking, for Jackson's 5th birthday, I let his friend Levi choose which cake to cut because there were 2, and that upset Jackson.
When he was 5.
Or Jackson had Minecraft on this iPad, and he had built me my own little place, and we had a box that he would put tools in for me to go destroy stuff, and we ended up selling the iPad, and Jackson lost all his stuff.
Yeah, he'll be in therapy forever.
Now, I will say regarding the iPad, we couldn't update it anymore. So, anyway. But really, I don't want that to be me when I'm dying. I don't want it to be regrets and guilt and all that. So this podcast basically says that you don't care about that crap when you get older.
No, your perspective changes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I listened to it as well, not with you, separately. And it was very interesting that how you view things and the importance of things is directly correlated with how you also view your time horizon, how much time you potentially have left.
Right, depending on your age.
Right. And because in the studies, they could actually get younger people to feel like the older people did, and they can get the older people to feel like the younger people do, which is to say younger people feel like they have more time, they can take more risk, they don't have the same interest for certain things because they feel like they just have all the time in the world.
Right. And
older people, they're more focused. It's like, look, I don't have a whole lot of time left. Now, that's, relative. Like, not a lot of time left could be 20 years. But when you're 20 years old and you think you only have 20 years left, that doesn't sound like a lot.
Yeah, and it was interesting. They were able to take people that were older and also make them feel like they did have longer to live and not the mentality of, oh, I only have 10 years left or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can fairly easily shift how you view things and respond to things. However, I don't know that I would want to shift to the younger viewpoints. I think it's very interesting that you can shift the younger people to the older viewpoints in some ways, because there are certain times when it serves you well. And to some degree, we even touch on that in the academy with how we have people put the proper emotional weight on things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of it. Like, will it matter in 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 5 years, whatever? And I often use a very similar technique when I'm talking to people that are having challenges about decision making. And I ask them, is this going to make a difference in a year or 5 years? And sometimes the answer is no. I'm like, well, then it's not that big of a decision. Just make one.
Right. Now, I guess because I'm getting close to certain ages, that I bought something one day And the thought actually went through my head of, that'll probably be the last one I buy of this before I die.
Yeah. Like when we get the roof done on the house, it'll be the last roof we ever put on a house.
Right. And I can't remember exactly what it was that I had bought, but I was like, well, this will last me till I die. Oh, it was dishes. It was dishes. Because I got a new set of dishes. And Jackson said, why'd you get a new set of dishes? The old ones were fine. I said, because I want a nice set of dishes before I die.
So people are like, what? We get a new set of dishes every 5 years.
Nope. That set of dishes, actually, I don't know. We got it probably 8-9 years ago. But it was just the IKEA white dishes because we had mismatched dishes before.
So are you saying that you don't expect to be here another 8 or 9 years?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the reality has struck that if I'm lucky, I might have 30. And I hope that would be good health, 30.
You going to keep those dishes for 30 years?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
You will break them before 30 years is up.
But
Matter of fact,
that's why I bought 2 sets of them and put one in the garage.
Here we go. Now the truth comes out.
Well, that's so. I have this other issue of, this is going to be a Lori therapy session. I have this other issue of I don't like to use new things because I don't want them to get messed up. I want them to remain new. I know it's crazy, but I know there are listeners out there that feel this. So when I bought these dishes, I said, you know what? I'm going to buy an extra set. That way, when one of them gets chipped or broken, that is not a big deal. I can replace it.
Is this why we have like a full set of pots and pans still in the box from years past?
Okay, my mama gave me those, and my mama is no longer with us.
So she would appreciate if you would use those.
I'm giving them to Jackson.
Oh, gosh.
When he moves out, along with the old dishes. I already told him he was getting those pots and pans.
Well, that explains why you buy shoes and you won't wear them, and you buy other stuff and you don't use it because you can't use new things. So you just need to go to like Goodwill and buy all used stuff.
Well, I think a lot of it, and here we go with this deep, dark, seated crap in the past, but my mom would get really upset if we had something and it got messed up.
Mm.
So I remember I had a brand new pair of shoes one time. I was probably 8 or 9. And I went to my friend's house down the road. And when I got there, I washed the bottoms of my shoes off because I didn't want them to be dirty. So there is some psychological crap going on.
So your mom messed you up?
Yeah, probably. But I need to get over that. And then I'm sure some of it is, when I was little, I had a pair of diamond earrings that my uncle gave me. And of course, at some point, one of them got lost.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I hate that happened, and it'll bother you. I had a little baby ring when I was a baby somebody gave me. It's got a little diamond in it, and it's the strangest story. For some reason, my mom let me wear it to daycare when I was little. And I lost it. And I was so upset about this. 2 years later, the man that was cutting the grass, his wife ran the daycare, heard something hit his window when he was cutting grass and found it.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So I got my baby ring back.
Wow. That's lucky right there.
But we let things like that, materialistic things, steal our joy. And when I say that, it's because, you get a new car, a rock hits it, and it upsets you. And every time you see that, it upsets you.
Mm-hmm.
We have to get better with that, people. Just like I talk about how one of your kids and my nephew were fighting and they busted the light on our ceiling fan and it chipped the floor. Funny how I can choose to look at that chip on the floor as a good memory versus a damage.
Mm-hmm.
And I do. So I'm working on that. And I think that we need to remember when the kid does mess up that couch, look, the couch is not that important. The kid is more important than the couch. The kid's mental health is more important than the couch.
Mm-hmm.
Because you screaming at the kid about that couch, something they did, may actually carry with them till they're older. I know you think I'm crazy, but there were things that my mom did growing up that I remember like it was yesterday. And it was things that hurt me. And I think that's why I am the way I am with Jackson. I don't want those to be his memories. So the next time the kids do something that messes up your brand new whatever, or even your old whatever, put it in perspective.
Yeah. Or as you say, be mad about it, but, give it 5 minutes and then, okay, what are you going to do?
Right.
Because being mad is not going to change it.
Right. And screaming and cussing at your kid's not going to change it.
Yeah. No,
You're only going to cause damage to that child. Anyway. So the other day, I have a story that I want to share, but I'm not going to share it right now. But we will just say that I enjoy pressure washing and weed eating, and in the past, bulldozing and backhoeing and all that. It's destructive in a way, but it's therapy because it's instant gratification. You can see the progress you've made. And I know I've talked about how I pressure washed the porch the other day. Well, I needed more therapy, so I pressure washed the entire back deck. And so I'm out there pressure washing like a little mad person. It's hotter than sin. I'm sweating to death. But I can't stop because I can just finish that little part. Oh, I can just finish that little part. Well, I come in and David's doing the dishes. I'm like, great, that's good. I didn't say anything. I didn't say thank you because, I'm trying not to say thank you for stuff that I don't get a thank you for. That's another discussion. And I said something to David the next day, I think it was, about me pressure washing. And he said, yeah, I looked out there and I was like, look at her. I'm going to help her and do these dishes. Y'all, every one of you listening knows what I'm thinking.
I set the bar high for other men.
Yes.
So are you appreciative that I helped you?
I'm appreciative you did anything, David.
Well, see, there you go. After all, they were your dishes.
But do you appreciate?
That you didn't want to use.
No. Now, do you appreciate when I do the dishes? Every day?
They're usually always yours.
David Sims.
They are.
This is not a platform to lie on.
Truth be told, most of them are yours.
That is a lie.
Okay. Let's start getting color-coded dishes so you can see how many of yours is in the sink.
Okay. We can do that.
We want those little Gerber color-coded ones.
So this morning, I was doing the dishes, and I had to hand wash a few things. We hand wash our knives. In case you didn't know, dishwashers are not good for knives. Again, whole nother discussion. And neither are ice cream scoopers. So I was washing those, and then there's these cups, insulated cups that only David uses that have to be hand washed. Guess who washes them?
Yeah. Guess who complains?
Wait. Sweet little Lori. So this morning, as I'm washing that insulated cup by hand, I look at David and said, I hate washing these cups by hand.
That's like saying you hate me.
And I said, but if you were dead, I would miss it. Then there's a cup on the table that he left yesterday It's not just your stepkids that leave crap. It's your husbands. And I said, are you through with that? He said, well, you can just rinse it out. I try to use them more than one day so you have less dishes to wash.
Why are you persecuting me for helping you?
Because, listen to this. The other day, 2 of your kids were here. One of them had their child here. And he seemed interested in the vacuum cleaner. And I said, oh, great. We'll teach him how to vacuum. And your other child, not the father of this child, said, that's a woman's job.
No, he didn't.
He did. And the other one would have said it too. But this one beat him to the punch. It is not a woman's job.
Now, you know that was a button-pushing comment.
Yeah, he gets it from you.
Well, I'm just stating, it's not like that's how they really feel. It's not that they were raised that way because, well.
I bet if I asked their significant others, how many times has your male partner vacuumed in the last year? I bet you both of them would say they don't even know how to use a vacuum.
And you know what my response would be? You get what you allow.
Well, my response would be, I tried to teach them how, but y'all considered it abuse.
That's true too.
So anyway, teach your kids young.
Yeah, like when they're 6 months old.
Yeah.
They should send people to life skill school.
They should send men to dishwashing classes and laundry classes and vacuuming classes and dusting classes.
Wow, they just marry somebody to do it for them.
Okay, folks. Let's talk about our guest today.
Yeah, let's do.
Our guest today is Michelle. She has been blending for 8 years. She is a stepmom who is not a bio mom. Oldest stepdaughter and her do not like each other. Surprise! She says even light parenting created drama.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to this, people. Even light parenting creates drama. Leave that to the bio parent. Get that target off your back, people. The hardest part of her blending is being misunderstood in her role and being treated with disdain and disrespect for existing.
It sounds like the whole first part of this podcast.
Yep. She said, I had nothing to do with their parents' divorce, and I did not force my husband to be with me. Something unique. She is a child of 3 divorces.
You ought to have it down by now.
She said, I get divorced, and I could be an ally versus the enemy. The thing is, she may still be an ally. It just might take time.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I'm an ally to your kids.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, they viewed me as the enemy.
I think even parents sometimes fall into that. I feel like I'm being viewed as an enemy.
Yes.
So it's just not just step parents.
Well, let me tell y'all one more thing that happened. Sorry. I got to tell you this. So David and I were in the pool yesterday, and he was being mean to me. And I called.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
What is this? What is this?
Let
Bash
me tell my
David
story.
Episode?
It is.
It's not.
We have Bachelor episodes all the time.
I understand why the disdain feeling. I understand how it feels.
Blah, 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 blah.
All right, so go ahead. I was in the pool beating you to death. Go ahead.
So I called Jackson, and I said, Jackson, David's being mean to me. He said, somebody's always being mean to you. Why are you the perpetual victim? So I said, bye.
Because he knows. He knows I'm never mean to you.
He couldn't wait to come tell you that last night.
I know he couldn't.
You know why?
Why?
He gets that crap from you.
Because He's my buddy.
Be careful who you marry the second time. The influence they have on your child may be not so good. I'm kidding. You're a good stepdaddy, but I don't like being told crap like that from my kid. That's enough of that. Let's get to listening to our interview with Michelle.
All right.
Today we have stepmom Michelle. Hey, Michelle, how are you?
Good. How are you, Lori?
Good. How long have you been blending?
I've been blending since, I guess, July 2015. That's when me and my husband got married. We'd been, I guess, dating, from October preceding that. So it was kind of a quick date and then get married. So that probably wasn't the smartest thing, but since July 2015.
Okay. And how many stepkids, bio kids, all that do you have?
I have 3 stepkids and 0 bio kids. My stepkids are, the oldest is 20, a stepdaughter, and the middle one, a stepdaughter, she's 16, and then the youngest is a stepson, and he's 15.
Okay. And do you, if you don't mind my asking, do you want children of your own or no?
Well, when my husband and I got married, I'm 51 now, so it was kind of late when I got married, or we got married, and he kind of was like, no, don't want that. And I wasn't feeling this motherly drive to have my own kids. I guess if it had happened when I was younger, I would have embraced it more, but that I was older, it kind of felt like it was just not going to happen, and I just made peace with that.
Right.
And then, he didn't want it, so I was like, okay, well, here we are.
There you go.
I have a dog.
You have a dog. There you go.
Yeah.
And how often are the stepkids with y'all? Oh, I assume the 20-year-old doesn't live there anymore, or she does?
No, she doesn't. She's in college, and the 2 youngest, they're with us 40% of the time, and with their mom 60%. So it's this weird thing where they're with us like a Wednesday, Thursday, and then we don't have them that weekend. And the following week we have them on a Wednesday, and then we have them that weekend. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But it equates to 40, 60 us, and then their mom.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about, you meet your now husband,
Mm-hmm.
and at the time he's got kids that are 12, 8, and 7, about that age.
That's about right. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Were you hesitant to get involved with someone that had 3 kids?
It's funny because, I should have been, right? And I guess I'm always this optimistic person, like everything's going to be fine. I've got this down, no big deal. Everyone will like me. It'll be perfect and everything will get along just fine. I didn't really worry too much about it. And that's probably my own downfall, being a child of 3 divorces. As I've gotten to be 50, I've done a lot of reflection because I've had some stuff, with my parents and things that have made me look back on how I was probably traumatized by that, but maybe just buried it my whole life.
Yeah. Isn't it fun when you get old? You're like,
right. You're like, oh my God, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
That explains it all.
Everything that happened when you're 10 comes back around, whether it's a
Exactly.
knee injury, anything like that, it comes back.
Oh boy, exactly. I guess I just didn't worry about it too much. Maybe I had my head in the clouds, but I thought it would just be fine because I guess I should have been concerned because it happened fast, and maybe just the response to that was a little jarring for people. And I don't think my husband and I did a very good job of sort of slow rolling into getting married, given, these kids just went through divorce, one's embarking on teenager years. And I really just was blinded and just was ready to get married kind of thing. I felt like I'm getting older. Why am I not married? Even though I was a real independent, take care of myself, do my own thing, didn't need anybody kind of woman. I was like, I just want to go and get married and and I didn't really think much about it.
Right.
Hindsight's 2020.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. So you mentioned so much in that. Okay.
That's a lot to break down.
I know a lot of step families seem to be created quickly like that,
Mm-hmm.
where the step and bio parent only date less than 6 months or so.
Because we're older, right? We're like
Yeah.
in our late 40s. We're like, we've got this.
Death is looming. Let's go.
Right. Yeah.
And so you meet this guy and he's got these kids and you don't think a whole lot about it, which I get. I do get. What was your relationship like with them starting straight out of the gate? 8 years
Straight
ago.
out- Yeah, straight out of the gate, the oldest one, I mean, I felt like from day one, I don't feel like I know. She rejected my existence. I felt like she treated me with contempt and disdain, looked at me, spoke to me, pretty much still does. And we'll get through all that. But she just was not welcoming of me at all, my presence. And I get it. I'm a child of divorce, right?
Right.
And I don't remember being so angry or rejecting of my stepmom one and stepmom two because I don't have a close relationship with my mom. I mean, I have a relationship with her, but my parents divorced when I was 9. My mom didn't really want to play mom. I was with my dad, and I guess was hoping that one of my stepmoms would be like my mom because my mom wasn't really mom to me. So I hoped that for stepmom one, and then I hoped that for stepmom two. So I probably was rejecting in some ways. I mean, I'm sure I was bratty and whatever because my dad took good care of me, even though he has his own issues going through 3 divorces. I probably was bratty and rejecting to them, but I don't remember being the way to them, the way my stepdaughter, the oldest, treated me from the get-go. I mean, she really didn't want me around, just didn't do anything overtly hateful. I mean, I will say it probably could have been a lot worse, but she made me feel really unwelcome and uncomfortable and looked at me and spoke to me with disdain. Now, I'm not going to say there weren't some good times because that was probably 90% or 85% of it. There were some times where she was nice and pleasant and generous to me, which made me question, like, what's your motive here? Because the other 85% of the time, you're not real cool to me at all.
Right.
But we've always kind of butted heads, and I get it. She's the oldest. She was in her teen years. She was probably like, her father's, I don't know, maybe she was playing a little bit of mini wife and sort of uprooted her from that throne, whatever. But it's just been uncomfortable throughout with her.
Do all the kids have the same bio mom?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And what's her relationship like with y'all, or you specifically?
She's not, we don't have any issues. She's not like, I mean, she even told the oldest in the beginning, she said, hey, you need to respect and learn to like Michelle, and you just need to figure out how to get on with this and stop creating, stop behaving this way, if you will. So while we're not like pally-wallies or anything like that, we're polite and considerate and we're kind to one another when we see each other. We don't do anything together, but we don't have any agenda or anything against each other. We don't badmouth each other. You know what I mean? So
yeah, you have a cordial relationship.
Yeah, cordial. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not that bio mom was bashing you that caused stepdaughter to not like you.
Right.
I think, like you said, the mini wife thing probably played a role. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I have just started talking to you, but it usually does.
Yeah. I think there was just that close relationship with the father post-divorce, and I came in fast, right? So we got married quickly, right? So it came in fast. Here I am, boom.
How long had they been divorced when you came in?
That's a good question. I feel like it was like 5 or 6 years. I mean,
I
can't really. Yeah. It had been a little while, but it still was probably pretty fresh, I guess. Maybe for a girl who's embarking on her teens. Like I said, I think she had that, mini wife kind of position. Sort of.
And teenage years.
And teenagers and a girl. And so, yeah, a lot of those particular things. But I'm thankful that I didn't have the mom, bashing and all that stuff, because that would have just added another layer of, challenges. So.
Right. When she would come in from being at school or whatever, would she completely ignore you, or would she be hateful to you, or we'll say not nice?
I wouldn't say. It kind of started with that light parenting stuff, and I should say maybe this was the trigger for it. So I would say things like, I'm definitely not like, get off your iPad, do this, do your homework, take a shower. I'm like, hey, do you mind putting your plate in the dishwasher? Do you mind cleaning up your stuff here? That's kind of it. Like, hey, you're making lots of noise at 2:00 in the morning. Can you keep it down? That's really kind of the extent of my parenting, if you will, right? And so there were a couple times I may have asked these things, and I got like basically an attitude of, without saying it, although this was said to me later by another one, you're not my mother, don't tell me what to do, was kind of the look I got, like disgust, disdain, what are you asking me? And that would set me off. See, that's the thing. I took some of that personally, and I probably took teenage drama personally, and just didn't let it kind of flow. And so the combination of not liking me in the teen years and me saying, hey, can you put the dish in the dishwasher? And then me being called a nag and a bitch made me, instead of just like letting it roll, I'm like, why are you behaving this way? I mean, I didn't ask you anything that was unreasonable. And then
Right.
because it would just be a circle, we'd be going around in circles like this. I'm trying to, justify my ask and explain away why I'm asking and explain why it's okay to ask. And then she's, being, a teenager, doesn't want me around. It just escalates into something that's worse. And there was one point when we were practically screaming at each other. So, and just, I think a couple of events like this, topped on one another, just set the stage for things just unraveling. And it got to a point where, there were some kind of, blow ups or fights, some stuff like this, and some larger events were dragging a mattress down the steps because it was just in her room temporarily because we moved and, banging everything. I was like, why are you dragging it down? I said, we were going to move it. And then she got real nasty with me about that. I'm like, why are you getting all, and of course that was my reaction, right? So my reaction was never good. And then there was a point later where it just kind of just got worse and worse, the attitude towards me and the looks of disdain and contempt at me. And there was one particular time where she was, later, I think she was about 16 or maybe, I had said, I don't like the way you're treating me and you wouldn't treat anybody else like this and I'm not going to tolerate it. So I said, maybe you should go to your mom's house. In fact, maybe you should just leave and go to your mom's house. And her mom's house is 5 minutes down the road. So in her eyes, I kicked her out. So then a little while passed and I apologized because my husband asked me to apologize and I did. So then she came back and it sort of was like the same cycle of events. And she was probably almost 18. And so I had gone, and I should say, I provide like this, maybe this is why it's a bigger trigger for me because I am providing the house. I'm buying, like I'm paying for it. My husband does stuff around here, but he's got other bills and stuff, long story. I'm providing groceries, I'm cooking meals, I'm doing this stuff. And so I had gone to the store and bought like a whole bunch of groceries for the house, right? And so she asked everybody in the house if they want something and totally ignored me. And I was like, hey, look, I just bought this stuff and you ask everybody if they want something and you completely ignored me. Like I just apologized to you and was trying to be nice, extend the olive branch. And this is the treatment I get again when you come back. And it just escalated. I said, I don't deserve to be treated like this. I said, in fact, when you turn 18, if I really wanted to be mean, if I really wanted to be nasty, I could start charging you rent for that room if you want. I could do that because obviously you have no respect or appreciation for me at all in this house. And I'm not the thankless servant of this house. And so then she just left. And that was kind of, the straw that broke the camel's back. And she went to her mom's house permanently. And then that was it. And she just stayed there. And so I didn't speak to her for probably 2 or 3 years until like last year we had a party at our house and she came over. My husband was trying, my husband has my back, I guess. He does. He gets it. He understands what I'm saying. He doesn't like the way I handled it. He didn't appreciate the way I handled it, because in his eyes, he's saying, you kicked her out and she needs safety and she's a teenager and they act like this. And I'm saying, no, I'm done being treated like a doormat. I've been treated with disdain and disrespect from day one for existing, and I don't appreciate it. And I shouldn't have to tolerate it in the house I'm providing. And that's where we like butt heads, me and my husband. And so eventually, it kind of simmers. She was at our mom's. I said, you need to hang out with her and go spend time with her, whatever you need to do. I don't want to be the person that continues to, I don't want to, even though she's not here, I don't want to be the person that's keeping you from spending time with her. So they tried to. I think he was a little confused and a little lost and just troubled by it. But then finally, last year, we had an event at our house and she came over. I said, he said, well, she's coming. I said, well, is she going to treat me like a doormat here is she going to treat me with disdain and disrespect? Because I don't appreciate it. He's like, nope, I've talked to her and everything's going to be okay. Y'all might not be chitty chatty, but in any case, when she got here, she said, hello, Michelle. And I said, hello, how are you? And that was really it. There wasn't any more exchange than that, but at least we weren't looking at each other like each one of us is a devil, and we could coexist without feeling angry. Again, we're not on talking terms, but we can exist in the setting and not, be mean.
Right. Now, tell the truth. That during that event, you were looking to see if she was looking at you.
Oh, yeah. I was doing that. And she probably was doing the same thing too, right? That's what we do, right? Mm-hmm. So, and then there was another time, shortly thereafter, she came over and, my husband tried, she came over to pick up, the middle girl for a birthday dinner out. And like she came to the door and she was talking to me, and I didn't know she came to talk to me. So I was helping the middle one, like with get her laundry out of the dryer because she was in such a hurry. And then I came up and my husband was like, hey, like she came to the door to say hi to you. Are you going to talk? I said, I'm helping the other one here, like get her stuff together. I said, I didn't know she came to talk to me because I that was just kind of surprising. But funny because when I was talking to her, she was looking away, waiting for the other one to come out, which kind of bugged me a little bit because I'm taking my time and being really genuine and vulnerable and talking. And I saw that she wasn't interested. I said, did you ask her to come to the door and say hi to me? He said, yeah, I did, because I just wanted to like try to get you guys moving forward. And I said, well, I appreciate that, but just know it didn't feel now that you told me this and what I experienced, I realized it wasn't genuine on her part.
Right.
So that kind of bugged me. So I'm like, nothing's really changed. We're just cordial and polite, in each other's company. That's it.
Right.
And that's kind of where we are, I think, today.
When you would have these conversations or because I can't say with your stepdaughter about her moving out, did your husband support you with that? Or did he say, I think you're overreacting a little bit, or I get it, this is hard, let's see what happens, take time?
He supported me, but and even when I explained issues where I didn't like the way she looked at me or spoke to me. I mean, he would talk to her. I mean, maybe he didn't deliver the message in a way that she understood it, and again, she's a teenager, right? So she's probably like, I don't give a crap what you're saying to me. I'm going to do whatever I want. He tried, maybe it wasn't in a way that she received and could act properly, thereafter, but he did try. And then even in these cases where this happened, where she moved out, I mean, he was obviously upset. I mean, but he did have my back and he understood where I was coming from. I think he was just in the middle, torn. Like he understood what I was saying and he understood what she was experiencing, and he's thinking, why can't we all just get along? But right. I have to support my wife because my wife's being treated like a doormat.
Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. A lot of people will say, well, you shouldn't tolerate that. Well, you kind of didn't, right?
Right.
But your husband could have been very resentful to you.
He could have been. Mm-hmm.
Even if he understood. Just because it's your kid, you get defensive. Now, my kid's not going to be living with me 40% of the time. I'm not going to see her as much before she goes to college, all that stuff. And it puts them in a bad spot.
Yeah. Yeah. And I realized I did that. Yeah. And I feel like at some point down the road, I mean, maybe their relationship didn't blossom as well. And I will say that what I've observed from, this stepdaughter is, in my opinion, I feel like she plays victim a lot. And I feel like anything that doesn't go right for her in her life, and again, I'm a child of 3 divorces, so I have, nothing was rosy, peachy for me. I just feel like anything that doesn't go right, it's always, let's blame my father. Let's blame my father. And let me just add punishment in there for Michelle too. Like, I just feel like she does that more, and I don't see the others doing that. Now, I'm not saying the others don't have their own challenges and, quirks and things, but I feel like she does that. And I feel like it continues. I mean, and she's 20, and I'm kind of wondering, is she just going to mature out of it? Or at age 30, is she going to be nuts, or I shouldn't say, like, be crazy or depressed and say, I mean, because she had a cycle in the past where she went into a facility because she apparently was suicidal. And I don't want to point down the road where she said, hey, Michelle, you're the reason why all this happened, because I didn't get to spend enough time with my father because you kicked me out. That's what I don't want to happen. And I just hope she can realize maybe, and they're kids, right? But it doesn't mean you just have carte blanche to act like a complete jerk 24/7 all the time and just get, there's a free pass. Because as I tell my husband, it's like, I feel like I have to walk around like everything's wonderful, everything's fine, everything's great. Yeah, sure. And everyone else can act like total jerks and they get a pass. And it doesn't feel fair. And it drives me nuts because I'm really strong-headed, independent, and you're really pushing my buttons when you think we have to operate that way.
I completely get it. I do.
But a part of me feels bad because, again, children they're children. I mean, they're kids. They don't know. And you need to give them that space and latitude to be a-holes or whatever they need to be and have that safety. And I probably didn't give that because you know why I didn't give that? Because I'm not the bio parent and I don't have that love bank built up that allows me to tolerate that. And I feel like some of the issues that kids feel post-divorce, whether it be anxiety or stress or hurt or loss or whatever, they're not lobbing it really at their parents, especially when there's a step parent. I mean, they might be doing some of it, but if there's a step parent there, I feel like they become the brunt of it because the kids don't do that to the parents because they want the parents' love and adoration and respect and attention and all this stuff. So they want to try to keep that relationship, whatever it is, an intruder in the picture, stepmom or stepdad. It's like, well, we're just going to lob it that way.
Right. It's just an easy target for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're the new thing. You're what's causing all the problems. There were no problems before you.
Exactly. Which is not true, but it's just that's the way to justify it, and reason it. Yeah.
Right. And you don't have those bonds with those kids to have the discussions most of the time of, I want you to understand that I had nothing to do with your parents splitting up.
Right.
I understand you are hurt and angry, and I'm sorry that you feel that way, but I did not cause this hurt to you.
Right. Exactly.
Just like us taking it personally. We take it personally.
We do.
There's probably a lot of things they take personally.
Yeah. And we don't see it from their lens. I mean, and I'm sure it's frightening and scary and all that because it's their nuclear family's dissolved.
Right. And all we're saying is, hey, can you pick up your shoes off the floor?
Right.
And to them, that translates, I married your daddy, now I can tell you what to do, and you're going to eat dirt off the floor if that's what I tell you to do.
Right. Exactly. You're like, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that at all. It's like, why can a coach and a babysitter and everyone else say, hey, can you put your dish in the dishwasher without any issue? But I say it and I'm a nagging, B.
Because you married her dad.
You married her dad, and two, you're who are you? Because you don't fit the role of my parent. Because I have one mom and one dad, and you're the second person that's trying to be like a parent, but you're not really a parent because I've already got enough parents, and I don't need you to be that person. You're not my aunt. You're not my teacher. You're not my coach. What are you? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we're asking the same thing. We don't know what we are.
Exactly. We struggle too for those reasons.
We are what we are given the authority to be.
Yeah. I think that covers, you get the dynamic for the older one. And I really think that set a lot of, energy in the house during that time. So the other two, the middle one, I think I'm closest with her because I've done some Girl Scout stuff with her. And we kind of I think personality wise, we're more alike and we kind of like similar stuff. Like we run and we are active and do stuff. And so I think, and maybe our styles are similar, you know what I mean? So I think just having, and I've built somewhat of a relationship with her. Now I'll say it's comfortable. Now I'm not saying we give each other hugs and say, I love you, because for these particular things, I don't force myself on them. And this probably goes back to my childhood. I think my husband would say, hey, well, you should take them here and take them here and probably be more motherly. And I said, well, that probably will make them reject me. So I let them sort of make the call on how they want me to be like that. But they're very open and talkative and share things with me. Like they'll come over and say, hey, do you want to see this? Meaning I don't have to insert myself into a conversation that's going on with them and their father, right? They'll invite me in. So that's been good. Although this same one over just this Thanksgiving, she said, you're not my mother. So, but it's funny because it was just a rule of not running laundry at 1:00 in the morning with it clanking around in the dryer with the vent next to my head.
Right.
And my husband was like, didn't we have this rule? And he started it. And I said, yeah, we had this rule. And then she said, well, I wasn't here all day. It's that always too busy, but you sleep until noon and you didn't have time to do anything. I was like, weren't you here this morning? You could have done the laundry then. Just pointing out some facts here. And then it kind of that escalated. And she's like, you're not my mother.
All I asked you to do was not do your clothes at 1:00 in the morning.
Oh my God, seriously, right? And I said, I know I'm not your mom, but I have a right. So then that whole thing escalated into something really big in the whole house, right? Mm-hmm. And so this was the eve of Thanksgiving night, and they were doing stuff with their mom's family, and they came back here. So that unfolded a bit, and I said, well, yeah, I'm not your mother, but I should be able to ask for things. And then my husband, I don't know how it just spiraled. I don't even remember what made it spiral, but then my husband and she got in a big fight. And like this particular one will, when she's upset, will just really yell at the top of her lungs. It's just like crazy. And then we're like, it's okay. You don't need to be like that. But it's just her expression, right?
Right.
So it just unraveled real fast. Well, the oldest one wasn't here, and the oldest one was at her mom's. And so her mom wasn't around. And so I guess my husband wanted to call the oldest to sort of be like mediator, because the oldest and the middle girl, I guess they have a relationship, but sometimes I'm like, are they close, or are they always fighting? Because I always think they're like fighting. So they have this like hot and cold relationship, the oldest daughter and the middle daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And so the oldest was playing mediator, and I was back in the bedroom, and they were trying to play out the events. She was screaming, and my husband was trying to just control it. And he was like, okay, I'm going to call her. And so she's playing mediator, and I'm back in the bedroom, and I can hear them saying, Michelle, Michelle, Michelle. Not in a way of that's bad, but telling, like incorporating me into the story. So I come out here, and I finally said, I waited till there was a break. I said, hey, I have every right in this house. I said, I'm not going to be vilified for asking for something basic in this house. I have the right. I don't ask for a lot. And all I was asking for was not to have laundry to be run at 2:00 in the morning. That's it. I'm not apologizing for making that ask. And I walked away. And then the oldest said, middle one, hey, you need to respect your mom and Bubba and Michelle. And I was just like, whoa, did she say that? Is what I was thinking, because I was just floored that she would say that. That doesn't mean we're like pals or anything now, but I was surprised that she said that,
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. So, but even though she said, you're not my mother, I wasn't as rattled about this because I had a closer relationship with her. And I later said, hey, I actually told my husband, I said, well, while you're asking for your apology, I want you, and this is like my nachoing, I said, you need to ask she needs to apologize to me, and you need to go in there and initiate that. Because, hey, don't forget about me, invisible life of second wife. You got your apology, I'm owed an apology, because I don't think I did anything wrong, and I didn't appreciate the way I was treated. So he marched in there and was like, you need to apologize to Michelle.
Did you say that's your part of not nachoing?
That's not part of like nachoing, meaning I'm not going in there and saying, you need to apologize to me. I'm telling my husband, you need to tell her to apologize to me.
You're parenting by proxy.
You're right. Yeah.
That's not nachoing at all.
Well, I was like using him.
Yeah.
But
I get it. No, but that's good. It worked for you.
It worked. And we got past it. So, my point is, and like kind of to the nachoing thing, I mean, even with there are things around here, like I said, I kind of light parent, and I've backed off from even that light parenting, and even things that I will just say, hey, honey, you need to tell so-and-so to do this. Hey, honey, you need to tell so-and-so. He said, no, why don't you tell them? I'm like, no.
Yep. No.
I'm not telling them. You're telling them. You're the parent, your job. I'm not doing it.
You are not setting me up, buddy.
Exactly. And he's thinking like, oh, well, you can just parent too. That's fine. I'm giving you the permission. Yeah, I get that, but that doesn't work well. You don't understand.
No.
You should understand, but you don't understand.
They haven't given you the permission. And I know some people will say, they shouldn't have to give you permission. They're the children and blah, blah, blah. Well, but they're not your kids. And I mean, I know we say that all the time. It's in the title, but they're not your kids. You don't have that same relationship that you do with bio children.
Right.
Yes, you may have that occasional person that looks up and has a great relationship with one of their stepkids, which I feel like I do with at least two of mine. Well, yeah. Okay, we might bring it down to one. But anyway, it's just one of those things where things can change.
Yeah. And what I've grown to learn is to take it less personally. Like before, I mean, every little thing, I mean, I would feel like, why is this going on? And now I'm just like, whatever, not my problem. And I just like, not my problem. Nacho Kids. I'm walking around, Nacho Kids. Yep. Not my problem. Yeah.
Yep. Not your responsibility.
Not my responsibility. Right. Not.
Yeah, because they can obviously become your problem.
They can create a problem. Yeah.
How did you get over the not taking it personally? I know with me, I would say in my head, it's not about you, Lori. It's not about you. Walk away. This is not about you.
Right.
So what did you do to
Yeah, I mean, partly I'm going, okay, they're kids, right? I mean, they could be behaving the same way with their mom, right? It's just the relationship's different. So, and part of me says, okay, this is just the behavior of the situation. It just, fact is, I'm not the mom, right? So
Hmm.
I had to be like, okay, not the mom. And she's still a teenager, right? And it's not about me. It's just the dynamic. And if I was her, I might feel pretty shitty at times here as well. And again, it's not about me. It's just the situation. And I guess I've gotten a thicker skin just saying, oh, well, not me. I'm not going to let it become a problem for me. So
Right.
I'm just going to let it roll. There we go. I didn't like it, but I'm going to let it roll. I can confront it. I can either, and then I can solution. I can say, hey, I didn't like that, which I've done because there was another incident with the same particular one on the steps one time. And I said, hey, I didn't appreciate that. And then I got a real nasty response, and I was like, "Hey, Ahmed," oh, like my husband. I said, "Hey, you need to say something." Everybody's saying you're going to know the whole family soon. I said, "You need to say something. I didn't appreciate that. You're the parent. Teach the lesson." So
Yeah.
I think I've just learned to know that these things are going to keep happening in some way or another. If it's not something in the teen years, it'll be something in the adult years. And I just and I keep saying to myself, they're not my bio kids. They're not my bio kids. They're not my bio kids. They don't owe me anything. I don't, it is what it is. It's a blend and it's not perfect. And I'm not going to let it ruin my day.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people say, how did you live there so long with her treating you that way?
Yeah. I mean, and you could say, I mean, there don't, I mean, you obviously, there have been many times where I'm thinking like, what's my exit strategy? Because again, I am single, have taken care of myself, have paid for everything in my life, my school, my cars, my college, whatever. And for me, I'm very independent, right? And I'm the only child, so I've lived a lot on my own. I'm kind of like a loner to a degree. My husband is Palestinian. He's Muslim, so he's like one of nine. So it's all the big family to do. It's like we're completely opposite from where we came from. Like I can take care of myself. I don't need all this stuff. I mean, but I guess I love my husband, and I felt like I needed, like I'm supposed to be here, right? And this
Hmm.
is my path, and it's not going to be easy. But I feel like strangely, because I've lived in the dynamic of a divorced family, I didn't want to go through divorce myself. Like I thought, I'm going to survive this. I'm going to work through this, and I'm not going to be that story. And then sometimes I'm thinking, am I just reacting to a situation and being like, oh, I got to get out of here? Because lots of times that is what it is. If you just sort of let it ride itself out, I mean, things may not ride themselves out and become perfect, but I think if you just ride it out a bit, it'll get to a place that's you can be at peace with. It may not be perfect, but I think you can get to a place of peace. And everyone's struggling through all this. It's not just Michelle, it's
Right.
everybody.
Yes. Let's talk a little bit about your blends growing up.
Hmm.
You said that you were part of divorce 3 times.
Hmm. Yeah. So my parents divorced when I was 9, and my dad had custody. I mean, I think it was like an 80-20. It was 80 my dad, 20 my mom, I think. And they had a real ugly divorce. And then, fast forward, my dad got remarried like shortly thereafter. Maybe I was 11 or something. To stepmom number one, who I liked a lot. She was about 10 years younger. And that lasted for a couple years. She wanted to have children. My dad didn't want any more children. So then they divorced, and she went on to get married and have kids. And then my dad's third wife was my dad's, actually the woman he loved in high school, probably my dad's high school sweetheart. So they reconnected and got married. That lasted for a while. And then I guess when I was about 17, were going through a divorce. And so, I don't know all the details. I'm a kid, right? But yeah, there were affairs. My dad wasn't the best person. The stepmom wasn't the best person. There was just, I guess, drama in the relationships. I think my dad is very like emotional and kind of depressed, and sort of has these ways of not operating well within a relationship. You know what I mean? That
Hmm.
may bring these women down to just struggle or whatever. I mean, I didn't see it, but when I've had conversations with stepmoms afterwards, they were kind of like, your father, he just, had some struggles, whatever. And so that may have just, leaded to the demise of both of them. But the first one, stepmom one, didn't have any kids. And then stepmom two, she had a son and a daughter. she was close to the daughter. The son, I think I may have met once, and the daughter I met like a couple times, but they were a bit older than me. But, that was, I guess, when I was maybe a freshman or sophomore. I guess it was like a sophomore in college when that divorce happened. And the reason why, my dad was a good dad, but my dad was went through three marriages and divorces. Then he moved to California when I was in college for another woman who had like a drinking problem and all. That was a big nightmare. And then he moved back to the States, back to Virginia, and had another girlfriend and whatever. So now, long story short, my dad lives on his own. He's been on his own for a while now. He has a dog. It's just him and his dog. I think he's good. He doesn't want all that relationship drama. He's just had a lot of relationship drama. But I bring this up because and how it relates to the step family thing is my mom remarried when I was 13. And so I have a stepdad. And I don't really have much relationship with my mom because I feel like my mom didn't really want to be mom. I moved out of country for some other path when I was in my late 30s. And I'm 52 now. And I remember when I said, "Hey, Mom, can I park my car here while I'm away in another country? I want to come back." And she said, "You're not parking that car here." So that's the mom that I know, right?
Yeah.
So whenever I try to give somebody an example, I mean, she did parental stuff, but she wasn't nurturing, mothering kind of to me at all, which is strange because she had that kind of mother. And both of her sisters were, like that, which I never really understood. And I guess I don't know, maybe I think she struggled being a mom to me because she hated my dad too much. I hated my dad so much. And I had this conversation with my cousin. I said, I can only deduce that she can't be mothering and nurturing to me because she just hates my dad so much. Yeah. I couldn't figure out any other way to come up with an answer. So fast forward, my mom is now in a nursing home. She has Alzheimer's. She's been in a nursing home for about a year and a half. And she and my stepdad have been married since I was 14. They don't have any kids. They couldn't have. My mom had her tubes tied after me, yada yada. And they wanted to adopt, and it just never happened. So they didn't have any kids. But the reason why I bring this up is because I feel like I've spent more time with my two youngest stepkids in the 7 or 8 years I've been married than I have with my stepdad my whole life. And that's not to say he's a bad person. And I had a relationship that felt more like aunt and uncle. Yes, I care about them. But once my mom went into this nursing home, and there were a couple times that, or maybe leading up to it, a couple times my stepdad, did a couple jabs like, "Hey, you have time to go visit your dad, but you don't have time to come visit your mom and me." And then there was like another jab, like with my mom, like you can't care, you don't care, like about my mom, right? Which really kind of irritated me because I thought if I said a comment like that to my stepkids, I mean, I'd be the devil. They would hate me for life.
Right.
Because that parent cannot make a comment like that. Even if you've known me my whole life, you can't make a comparison of the time I need to spend with my mom and you versus my dad. And I lived with my dad. So these things just all of a sudden in the last couple years changed the way I feel about my relationship with my stepdad. And it sounds really harsh, but I've spent less, because when I used to go there, it used to be to see I spend time with my mom and my dad. They live about, my stepdad, they live about, 35 miles from my house. But now I don't see my stepdad as much because I honestly struggle with it because, I struggle with seeing my mom too, because I don't have a close relationship with her. And I see her maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks. She's in a nursing home kind of down where my stepdad is. Because I feel like I didn't have that nurturing mother. And my stepdad wasn't a doting father. Mm-hmm. Not that he's bad, not that they're bad. They just weren't parental, nurturing type of people.
It's who they were.
So, yeah, and I'm not, it's like, it doesn't mean I can't have a relationship with them, but don't make me feel like you were mother and father to me and I need to be a doting daughter. So I've been struggling with that lately, and it makes me sort of draw, I guess, comparisons with my stepfamily life. So I'm probably not as nurturing as I could be, but again, the kids have a real good mom. I mean, she's really engaged and active. So I'm not trying to step on those shoes, I'm not trying to set up myself for rejection or resentment. I just let them sort of call the shots, right? But if they say, "Hey," but again, I'm not gonna be like, "You're not giving me the same attention you're giving your mom," or I would never say something like that because it's not the kind of relationship. It never will be. ever.
No, it's crazy to say that.
So
Yeah.
strange.
And it's okay to love people differently.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing, like with my stepdad, it's like, I want to say, and I've sort of backfired a little bit with him on this because I was like, hey, you know, I care about you all, but don't ever compare your relationship that I have with you to my father because it's different. I mean, I grew up with my father. You know, I don't know what you want to say. My mom didn't want to be mom. I don't know. It doesn't mean I don't care about you all. It's just it's a different relationship. Don't make it something different and guilt me into trying to make it something different. So I can't guilt my stepkids into wanting to like me more or love me more because maybe I don't give that. Maybe they're not capable of giving that.
Right.
Whatever. But I have to be satisfied as where it is now, knowing I'm doing the best I can while not creating drama or problems.
Right. When your real parents got divorced, you went to live with your dad and not your mom?
Well, they were together, right? So I just stayed with my dad and my mom moved out.
Okay. Because I had written down that you had 20% with your dad and 80% with your mom. That's backwards.
Oh, it's backwards. Yeah, sorry. 80%
okay.
my dad, 20% my mom. Yeah. It's weird because I've had these conversations with people in my family, like, hey, I didn't think my mom wanted to be a mom. And it's just who she was. And people are like, no. She wanted to be your mom. And everyone thinks your dad was such a jerk and whatever. I'm like, how is it then that I ended up with my dad 80% of the time and only 20% my mom? Why is that? Because the court system wouldn't have supported the dynamic where the mother was dying to have you and the father was such a jerk.
Especially back then.
Right. And so something isn't right in the story.
Yeah. Something's a little shady.
Yeah.
It's interesting because when was that? How old were you? Said you're 52?
I mean, I'm 52, and that was when I was 9 when my parents divorced.
So 40-something years ago, 1980?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Back then, it was rare for men to get anything other than every other weekend. And it was close to the time that men just let whoever the next husband was become dad, adopt the kid.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So that's why I'm like, something is off about, the story I've been told. But
yeah. But that's okay. Sometimes
Yeah.
we don't need to know everything.
We don't need to know, here, life's moved on and, that you do the best you can and you acknowledge it and you accept it and you make peace with it and you try to have a good life.
Mm-hmm.
So,
has the stepson ever said you're not my mom?
No, he's good. He's good with me. I mean, I think because he was the youngest, right? And he's a little bit more, like boys are. They're kind of like, oh, whatever. Okay, okay, cool, whatever. I mean, boy of few words, right? When it comes to me, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, but even in the past, I was like, hey, dude, can you clean up your stuff? And he'd be like, okay. And he may feel the same way, but I think he's just more boy than, and he's just like, yeah, okay, whatever. He probably makes bigger messes. And sometimes that can bug me, but that's between him and his father to sort out. In the past, I used to say, hey, can you pick this up? Hey, can you pick that up? And now I don't do that. I'm like, honey, can you tell him to grab his stuff? Okay, I'm going to leave it there.
Okay. But you do realize you are not nachoing.
Probably not. Yeah. And then after I say it, I don't say it again. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now this would be nachoing. Here, I want to explain the difference.
So maybe I'm lightly nachoing.
Yeah, you're
beginner nacho.
We don't know what you're doing, lady. I'm kidding. So if you see the mess, you can say to your husband, this is nachoing, okay? You can say to your husband, hey, honey, when you get a chance, can you pick that up?
Yeah, it's frame it differently, yeah.
And he can say, I'll pick it up, or he can ask his kid to pick it up.
Exactly. Yeah. I've done that too. Yeah.
So it completely takes you out of the loop because a lot of times, and maybe you don't have this issue. A lot of times the husband will say, my God, lady, quit telling me everything my kid does wrong.
Yeah. And he doesn't really do that because I don't actually nag like that. I mean, I could be worse, but then there have been times where I may have said it twice and he's like, okay. But
he's just more receptive to that. And that's okay. That's good.
Yeah. There will be times when I'll say, because for some reason, the ability to stop use to put dishes in the dishwasher, that skill set has died. And I don't know what happened to it. Like it was going on like last year and the year before, everyone was doing it. And then now everyone just puts their stuff in the sink. I'm like, what's happened? But now I just say, honey, can you take care of the dishes in the sink? And then I'll walk
See,
away.
that's perfect. That's perfect.
And, yeah, and I do that because that's one of the things I hate the most. Dishes piling up in the sink. That's probably my biggest pet peeve.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm
You're
like,
not the only
I can't
one.
go use the sink. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't use the sink when there's a bunch of crap in it that doesn't belong to me. And it's easy enough to just put in the dishwasher, but nobody does it. But I do that a lot. I'm like, hey, dishes in the sink.
Yep.
Go check them out.
I do want to explain why that's not nachoing, if you don't mind.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Because by you telling him that, it could possibly put that target back on your back. If they heard you say it, or even the target from if your significant other doesn't want to hear you asking them to go tell their kid to do stuff. Like, don't tell me how to parent kind of thing.
Yeah.
Some people get defensive no matter what you say about their kid if it could slightly be negative.
Right.
I know sometimes David will say something about Jackson picking, and I'm like, you crossing the line. You crossing the line.
Yeah.
But that's why, I know. But that's why I wanted to say that wasn't nachoing. But see, that works for you. So that's okay.
I think I can just say, hey, honey, there are dishes in the sink to take care of, and just kind of walk away like that. Okay. Mm-hmm. Don't make any association to anybody's dishes. Just
do not say the stepkid. Don't say their name. Don't say you're bratty youngin, you're lazy youngin. Just it's neutral. Yeah. And you pick the shoes up at the door when you get a chance. Now, of course, don't wait till they're on the other side of the house. But when they're in the vicinity and walk back through, not as soon as they come in the door, but just eventually say to them, hey, when you get a chance, can you do such and such? Yeah.
And my husband does ask them to do stuff, like if they have plates in the room and stuff. And sometimes if I'm like taking the trash out, I'll grab their trash too. It's not because I'm trying to be like, I got here in the trash. I'm like, well, I'm grabbing it. I'll just do it. And I'm like, I'll do it. And I'm not going to complain about it because I've taken this on as something I'm saying I'm doing, and I can't be annoyed by it. Mm-hmm. But he'll say something like clean up your room, whatever, and then just like walk away. And it may be like 3 or 4 days before it actually gets done. But I don't intervene. I don't say anything about that. So he does.
And that's great.
Yeah. And I just like, not my room. Yeah.
Too many stepmoms would be saying, you told them to clean up their room and they hadn't done it yet. What are you going to do?
I don't do that at all. The room could be, the only thing I'm like, just, can you get the plates out? Whatever else is going on in there, not my problem.
Mm-hmm. Check and make sure there's no fungi or rats.
Exactly. I just don't need any bugs, whatever. I don't care. Other than that, I don't care.
All right. Well, let's do this scenario. Mm-hmm. What if you did get bugs?
I would say, honey, there are bugs in so-and-so's room. What are we going to do about it? I think it's probably because plates and stuff. What do you think? That's probably what I'd say. Because I'm really trying to take blaming off I'm trying to let him come to the assessment and conclusion, come to the conclusion from my observation that, it's because of the plates I left in the room. Uh-huh.
Right. Yeah.
Because you need them to figure it out. Because if you're figuring it out for them, you're like running in circles. It's never going to change.
Because how often do you hear anybody at a therapist and they'll say, I never thought of that till they told me that, the therapist, and the partner's sitting there going, I told you that 800 times.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. It's just hearing it from somebody different.
Because what I'm trying to do is I want to alleviate, and even the relationships with the other two, they were probably they could have been kind of challenging with the older one here, and the dynamic that I felt was kind of swirling about the house, the energy.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too.
Yeah, even the relationship with them has gotten better, more, friendly and calmer, because, even in the past when I would come in the house, and it's nothing like when you leave and come in, like sometimes they wouldn't even say hello or anything. And I'd walk in and be like, hello. And they wouldn't say anything like, hello. Mm-hmm. And I used to do that. And my husband's like, don't. And then actually when they would leave for school and I would say, bye. And my husband's like, stop. Just don't
say bye.
Don't bother. Don't say anything. I'm like, okay, got it.
But
so now I don't say anything.
Again, you have so many people listening saying, oh, heck no. By God, if my husband told me that, I would tell him he needs to make those kids say something to me because they are disrespectful.
Right. I don't do that. Yep. Yeah. It's just like you said. I mean, because you're just creating a bigger, because it's not your responsibility, and you don't want to. And when you do that, you're owning it. And all it's just doing is just it becomes heavy. It just, years of this, and you're like, it's just too heavy to deal with that. Now I'm like, I don't say, when they leave for school, I don't say bye at all. If they say bye, I'm like, bye, have a good day. But I don't say it at all.
Right. Because it makes you angry when you do and they don't respond.
Yes. And another thing, school mornings are so freaking annoying. Just all the stuff, like the kids are like, make me breakfast, make me tea, which I don't like them doing that to their father, but that's not my problem. I just put on my headphones, I put on music. And in fact, one time my husband came over to me, he's like, I was talking to you. I was like, oh, I got the music up. What's going on? He said, I was asking you something. And I looked at him and said, I don't like school mornings.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I just put my headphones back on. He's like, okay.
Yep. And see, by you not having kids, you're not used to the chaos.
Right.
And
right.
yeah, you came in their lives when they were kind of young, but it's still different than getting used to the noise level increasing from crying to screaming to slamming
demanding.
doors. Yeah.
Yep.
It's harder for you sometimes to just listen to it.
Yeah.
That's why good headphones are important.
Exactly. Before I would have been like, why are you talking to your friend like that? You can make breakfast. I mean, I would say that kind of stuff. I would interject myself.
Yep. But if he don't mind them talking to him like that, then the heck with it.
Exactly. It's not my problem. It's his problem. Exactly. I'm not going to make it my problem because I just realized, I'm like, why am I so angry and frustrated and like exhausted all the time? Because I'm making it my problem and it's not my problem, or it's not my responsibility. Not my job.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like, I can't take this on anymore. Yeah.
Right. You aren't happy with life anymore.
Exactly.
Yep.
You're like, I just have to stop for my own sanity.
Yeah. You lose yourself in the crap.
Yeah.
But we were throwing ourselves in the crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just got to like hover above it.
And it's not saying you don't matter and I don't have a voice in this house or anything like that. It's saying I'm just not going to let this stuff steal my joy.
Right.
You can be that way with anything, work related, step family related.
Mm-hmm.
My husband's being a douche related because they have days too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the relationships with the stepkids do change over time.
Exactly.
How things are now is not how they're going to be in 6 months, 6 years, whatever.
Right. Exactly. That's the one thing I keep trying to like go back to. I mean, it could be better, it could be worse, but hopefully it'll be better when they get older. I mean, the oldest one may never evolve into something, who knows, but I feel like the younger two, the relationships are good and they're kids. And I say all this, doesn't mean that I don't care about them, because I do care about them. I care about their well-being and what they turn into and their, how they feel and all that stuff. I do. But also I have, a right to have a voice and be heard in this house too, just like everyone else. And so any of this dialogue that's happened here is not like a slaying of, it's just the dynamic and what has happened and how it's evolved. And at the end of the day, I care about them. I'm sure they care about me to some degree, whatever that may be. But, if we can coexist peacefully, that's really all I can strive for.
Yes. And that's okay. You can't expect everybody to like everybody.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
Well, it has been great having you as a guest on our podcast.
Thank you so much, Lori. I've really enjoyed this.
I could probably ask you another hour's worth of questions just because I love that you've got this attitude of, well, I can't control it. I'm just not going to let it affect me like that. And you had a good point when you said this earlier about you weren't going to let that become your worry or your, what's the word you used? Not problem. It was like the way you said something about not making it your problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think you're doing a great job.
It just weighs you down. Yeah. Thank you. And one of the things I've done, like when things bug me, I could just like explode. I'm like, I'm going to go for a walk. And my husband's like, where are you going? It'll be like 9:30 at night. Like, I've got to go for a walk. I'll be back.
Yeah. I'm just taking a break. And it's great that he doesn't give you crap about that.
Yeah.
Because too many partners will say, why do you leave? It's like you're just abandoning us and we're not playing happy family. And dude, this ain't the Brady Bunch.
It's not.
You get me an Alice and we will have a Brady Bunch.
Exactly.
They should do tests like that.
Yeah.
Put an Alice in the homes of blended families and see if it improves the relationship. I bet you it would.
I think it would.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'd have that calming force of constant happydom. And you're just like, okay, well, we can't be angry. Look at Alice.
Yeah. Alice is taking care of everything. She's going to make sure everybody's fed, clean, homework's done. Yeah.
Yeah. The rest of the time, we just have fun. Yeah.
I'm telling David I need an Alice and it's just Jackson here.
There you go.
Have a good day.
Thank you, Lori. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
As we talked about during the interview, it's hard to not take things personally as a step parent or as a parent. But you have to step back and realize it's not all about you. And it reminds me of that song.
Please don't sing it.
I'm not going to sing it. I got to find out what song is it? It's the You're So Vain song. Carly Simon. I was right. I should have just said it. All right, there's a song by Carly Simon, You're So Vain. And it says, you probably think this song is about you.
It's about somebody.
It's not about you. It is not about you. It is what you represent. And that's something that we often talk about in the academy.
Maybe you can do a song based on Carly Simon's song.
Oh, you're so vain, step parent. You probably think this song was about you?
Yeah.
Or you probably think that it's all about you?
Yeah.
But it's not all about you. Now, granted, if you are coming in as a drill sergeant and all that stuff, then some of it could be about you. But that's why you got a nacho, people.
Mm-hmm.
Nacho. It feels good.
That's right.
All right, David. Anything else we got going on?
I'm scared to say because whatever it'll be, I'm sure it'll be wrong.
Yeah, because you lie. So you're not going to say anything?
I'm not going to say nothing because I can't be wrong.
David.
Yes, darling. Oh, I'm sorry. I just lied.
I know every one of these people listening are saying, poor Lori. Poor Lori. How does she tolerate such nonsense?
No, they're going, that David's hilarious.
Hilarious. I don't think that's what they're saying.
I love listening to them too. He is so funny and quick-witted. I love him.
He's so funny. The first 5 minutes. And that's what they say.
No.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next week, we have a very special guest. All of our guests are special. But this is a guy that has been dealing with parental alienation. So don't miss next week when we talk to David, not our David, another David. He actually has a book coming out about his experience with parental alienation.
Very cool.
Very cool. All right, David, do your thing.
All right, folks. Thanks for listening. Join us again next week. And hopefully I'll have done something right between now and then.
Yeah, maybe he'll do the dishes again to help me.
Yeah, I'll do your dishes to help you. All right, folks.
All right, we're going to start splitting them up. Yep. We get ready to see who has the dishes.
All right, get some Gerber dishes.
No, we ain't even going to do that. I'm going to take mine and stick them in the corner.
You don't have enough corners to put all them dishes in.
I don't use a lot of dishes. And if I do, it's because y'all make me cook. And you know I don't like that.
Oh, now who's lying? All right, folks. We'll see you next week. Remember, life is good.
Winnie Nacho.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Nacho Kids podcast. Find us online at nachokids.com. Until next time, remember, life is good when you nacho.